What's up, guys? Welcome back to another SLM Bets Monday special here, brought to you by Sports Lounge Media. I'm John Hamilton, your host of today's show. We are going to be going over a little bit about what we've seen so far in the March Madness men's basketball bracket, talking about some of the upsets and highlights, also some of the betting and prop parlays that we have put in this week's 4-game lock. And again, nothing is guaranteed, but I really like these picks. So let's just jump into it and we'll see what we got. First, to start out, let's show you what I'm going to be putting in later today. I really like this particular bet. This is a 4-leg parlay. This has Arizona over Arkansas. That particular matchup is favored. I do really like Arizona going into this. I think Arizona is a very strong team, especially in that West Conference. I think that Alabama and Michigan is going to be an interesting game. However, I'm going to take Michigan stacking up with Arizona. Houston versus Illinois. Houston showed a lot of grit, a lot of good defense, and I like them moving on forward into this bracket. We'll see about the next part of their bracket if they push through, but I do like Houston in this matchup. Now, this one is interesting, the Iowa and Nebraska game. I think Iowa does pull off the upset. I think the men's basketball, obviously the girls today got upset by Virginia. First time Virginia has been in a Sweet 16 and women's March Madness since 2000. However, the setup that I think that Iowa has going into Nebraska, I think Iowa does have the edge. They got better shooters. They have a better point guard. They're better inside the key. I think they have better time of possession. Their defense overall, I think that they're going to succeed in this matchup. So again, these 4 legs, Arizona, Michigan, Houston, and Iowa, I do have this being favored for the 4-leg at a plus 415. So a $1,000 bet, as you can see, will pay out $51.50, which is a really, really good payout. Pretty happy with that outcome. Hopefully it hits. And this is something that I recommend putting in. It doesn't mean that it's always going to be guaranteed to hit. However, I like this. Some of the people that I have talked to with my team on Sports Lounge Media, highly recommend you watch all of the shows. Very knowledgeable about ball, all the way from, Mike and Sarai and DP and Ken and Marshall. All those guys are great. I highly recommend watching all the shows. They do great work with Sports Lounge Media. And then we have a couple new additions. We're going to be getting into that as well. Once we get into the football season and some of our key pieces for our betting program that we're going to be having for our subscription service, we're going to be offering that very soon. I think it's going to be right before summer. So stay tuned for that on sportsloungemedia.com. Also follow all of our handles on Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube, and more. All of our platforms do stream on there. This is something that I recommend. Again, gambling can become an issue. If you have an issue or you feel like that maybe you're reaching a little bit too deep into your pockets, reach 1-800-GAMBLERS. They're there to help you out. As always, I'm just here to offer my knowledge and key pieces and what I like for my bets, and this is it. Some of the upsets last week, guys, I really want to kind of go over these. We're going to bring something up that I have on my phone right now. This is something that we've been talking about back and forth in our personal conversations about who we think is going to move on. Who do you like? Do you still like Duke? That's the big question down below. I want you guys to let me know. Do you like Duke? I personally do like Duke in this matchup. Going into the Sweet 16. I know they almost got beat and it was kind of a sweat going into the first round of the bracket, but we will see what happens. Let's take a look. And right now, out of everyone, I'm third in my bracket, so not too bad. Yeah, I mean, the first week was just crazy. Duke beating St. John's, not St. John's. Duke beating TCU. No, I apologize. Duke beating Senna, yes, and then Duke beat TCU after that. Sorry, my apologies. I had to scroll backwards. An upset for me, to be honest with you, was Ohio State. TCU beat Ohio State by 2. St. John's demolished Iowa, had them picked. I had Kansas picked over Baptist, and they won. Louisville beat Florida or South Florida. A lot of people are saying that was upset. Louisville was ranked 6th in that conference, so I don't know what people were talking about. Michigan State demolished North Dakota State. UCLA beat UCF. That one could have gone either way. I think UCLA has a better program, better coach. UConn beat Furman. That was no surprise. That's a really unfavorable matchup for the first round for Furman. Florida demolished Prairie View, 114-55. So if you had the spread on that, that was just unbelievable. And again, this isn't the first round. We all know about what's already happened. Iowa beat Clemson. Clemson played good ball, but I think Iowa, again, just has that better defense. Vanderbilt beat McNessie. Nebraska beat Troy. Poor Troy, man. Their program has fallen off. North Carolina got beat by VCU. That was, to me, a big upset. That was a massive upset. I thought North Carolina had a really good program this year. I thought they were really putting together a good team. And VCU just showed up, I guess. So Illinois, 105-70, the Penn, but that's Penn. They're ranked 14th. Texas A&M, I'm surprised that they beat St. Mary's. St. Mary's has had a pretty good program recently. Houston and Idaho, just not a fair matchup, 78-47. Then you had Arizona beat Long Island, Utah State to beat Villanova. You had High Point versus Wisconsin. And that one was surprising to me. I did have Wisconsin over High Point, but High Point has been playing really good. They were a very aggressive offense. So Arkansas, they beat Hawaii. Hawaii's, I think, not just their program, but Hawaii's just had so much going on locally in their livelihood that it could be affecting a lot, maybe practices, time of play, so forth. But Arkansas has always had a good program. BYU got beat by Texas. That was a surprise to me initially, but Texas has been playing really good in the bracket. Gonzaga to beat Kennesaw State. I haven't really heard of or seen much of that college, to be honest with you. Miami versus Missouri. Miami's just been picking people off. Purdue demolished Queens. Michigan demolished Howard. St. Louis beat Georgia bad. That was a big upset. Texas Tech, Akron. Alabama beat Hofstra. Tennessee, shout out Mark, beat Miami. Virginia beat Rice. That game could have gone either way, but Virginia did end up pulling it out. And I was interested to see kind of how that was going. Kentucky beat Santa Clara. Now, big shout out to Santa Clara. Santa Clara's program has been skyrocketing in performance. Great staff on the coaching staff. Great player pickups. They've just been on it lately. Iowa State, 108-74. That's just an incredible feat. And then I did really good in all of my conferences except the South. The South and the next one, I got every single one wrong, but that's okay. I made up for it in 2 other conferences. So Florida lost by 1 point. That was a huge upset. Massive, massive upset. That put Iowa towards the top. Then Nebraska beat Vanderbilt, which is also, to me, an upset, even though Vanderbilt's ranked 5th over Nebraska's 4. Vanderbilt had a more complete team, in my opinion. I thought that they just let some of the key pieces go, some of the fouls as well. VCU got beat by Illinois, so that was no surprise, but I didn't initially pick the Illinois. I picked the North Carolina. And then Houston beat Texas A&M, but obviously going back, if you look, I had picked, where is it? St. Mary's. So yeah, that whole division was crap. I was right on Arizona, Arkansas, Texas, Purdue, Michigan, Alabama, Tennessee, Iowa, UConn, Michigan State, St. John's, and Duke. So I'm telling you right now, there's a lot to look out for. The preview of what we got going on, obviously you can pick and choose what you want here, but Duke and St. John's, that's going to be a good matchup. I have Duke in this one. I think they've just been like the team to beat. I have them going all the way. That's my pick. There has been a lot of upsets, so we'll see what happens. UConn, obviously, over Michigan. And then, obviously, Iowa over the Nebraska. And then we have Illinois matching up with Houston. We've just talked about that. Arizona over Arkansas. That should be pretty self-explanatory. Texas over Purdue, or Purdue over Texas, whatever you choose. Michigan over Alabama. I mean, those are all big games. These are huge games to pick. Then we have Tennessee and Iowa. And then we kind of get locked in, and we're going to be seeing the finals of East, Southwest, and Midwest. And then we'll be taking a look and kind of going from there. But yeah, guys, I really, really appreciate you guys always tuning in. I'm very excited about football. There's a lot been going on in golf. Bryson DeChambeau, congratulations to winning in the Live Tour. That was huge. Beat him in the playoff. Had a good chance for Eagle, put it in a birdie. Great way to win a tournament. He just hits the ball super far. He's super accurate. He's pretty okay on fairway percentages, but he's just been landing his greens and the under regulated amount. So been killing it with that. We also have this summer big soccer news coming up. We have in Seattle, the World Cup going to be coming here, as well as different parts of the world's regions. A lot to look out for. There's so much betting opportunity and so much money on the table. All you guys have to do is just put in a little bit to get a lot. Talk about that bankroll management. We have a video on that, and I'm going to be putting some highlight reels how to do a bankroll management setup. Always take something, double it on 2 lines, and try to find something you can double your money that way, and just keep rolling and making it through. You can always take out a little bit if you want some, to pay for other stuff, but I highly recommend using a bankroll management tactic. That is the best way to make profits. If you do one parlay with 25 legs or 20 legs or 18 legs, it's going to be hard to hit. That's why Vegas gives you those odds. You just won't hit it. It's not likely anyway. Other than that, guys, I'm John Hamilton. I'm your host at SLM Bets. If there's any questions you guys want, please reach out to me directly. I am absolutely killer in my parlay legs. 82% last year was just insane. That was 2% above the year before. So make sure you guys follow for more. Push that like and subscribe button. Comment down below your takes, your picks in March Madness. We'd love to hear them. We take all that information. We take it into account. We listen to you. We want to hear your feedback. And then let's put in some amazing parlays so we can start making some bread. Guys, as always, thank you so much from Sports Lounge Media. Make sure you follow and subscribe. Peace out until next time.